Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our international best-selling author, Larissa Soehn, joining us here. She's going to talk about the work she does as the CEO of Next Page Publishing. She's really here today, of course, to help us and really proudly serves entrepreneurs. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back, Jill.
Well, thank you for being here. Would you mind telling us your website to start, how we could find you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I am the CEO and founder of Next Page Publishing, and you can find us at very easily named nextpagepublishing.net. And you can find out about how we aim to serve those wonderful entrepreneurs that you were talking about. We take them from the idea of writing a book, because we all have that little inkling in us that, oh, I think a book would be a good thing in my life, in my business, in my family. And we take that idea, we take you, and we walk you through the process of writing, editing, publishing, and selling that book so that you can use it to 10x your business, build your brand, charge more for your services, and leave a legacy that you, your children, your family can be proud of.
Awesome. Well, by the way, we have to also get to know you for new listeners and viewers each and every time. So tell us about yourself, because obviously you have the publishing company, but you clearly are an author. Talk a little about your background and what brought you here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started writing back in 2020 as sort of a release from reality. I was going through some mental health challenges at the time, and I needed to step out of my world as it was today and into a different space. And, you have kind of options. You could watch TV, which is the mind-numbing option, or you could step more into a creative zone. Some people choose painting, some people choose journaling. I chose creative writing. And I started writing my first sci-fi book. It's called The Defender. And it was really my way of processing what was happening in my world. It was my way of thinking outside the box, coming up with creative ways to deal with the problems that I had. And I never looked back after writing that first book. Since then, I've written about 10 books, 5 of which have been published, all ranging from children's books to self-help, memoirs, my sci-fi books. Like, it's all over the map because I fell in love with the art of being able to creatively express myself. And then in 2022, I started the publishing house because I saw this huge need amongst self-published authors for support. Publishing a book can be a very lonely process, and that's how it was for me in my first bit. My first book was hard. It was an uphill battle, and it shouldn't have been, because it took away from the moments of extreme pride and extreme joy, and they were overshadowed with incredible self-doubt, with confusion, with, the fear of making the wrong choices. So I stepped back and I said, how can I fix this? How can I make this journey easier for authors? And so I founded the publishing house, and I knew my niche, my people, my powerhouse women out there that wanted to write these books deserve to have a resource that has been there, has walked the talk, and is truly there for them.
Oh, it's amazing. And I got to ask about your books. Tell us the other one. So you have how many? You started off with the sci-fi, you said. What came next? And then next?
And then next, and then next, and then next. So I've written 10, and some of them will probably never see the light of day. I've written some local cozy mysteries. I'm based out of Canada, so I wrote some in my home cities, which was kind of fun. But the ones that actually made it into the publishing sphere was I have 3 children's books out there, and they're all focused on kind of social issues. The one I'm most proud of is called Mommy is Having a Sad Day. And it was the one that I used to talk to my daughter about my feelings when I was going through depression. And it was how I helped her cope with, the fact that some days I didn't get out of bed. And some days I wasn't able to go to her school field trips, or I wasn't able to pack her lunch, and we were relying heavily on her dad. And it was my way of helping her through that by opening the dialogue. So that's the one I'm the most proud of. And then I went on to publish a couple more about racial indifferences in children. We are in my hometown, we're a small community. And so racial differences isn't hugely prominent where we live. So I wanted my daughter to be able to have these conversations, even though she wasn't necessarily as exposed as, bigger cities might be. And then I just went on to create things that I felt the world needed. And again, that's why I created this publishing house, because these women are looking at the world and thinking something is missing. My message is missing from this world, and I can make a difference. And that's how all of my books started. And that's what the publishing house came about.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on all the success. And let's talk more now about the work that you're doing and the people you want to help.
Yeah. So, in the last couple episodes that we've talked about, some of the fears that are getting in our way of writing our book, the I don't have time, I don't have the resources, I don't have the skill. Today, I want to talk about, what do you do when that I don't have the skill is getting in the way? So I have these amazing female entrepreneurs who are, either on the brink of starting their business, or they've been in the business for several years. And it doesn't really matter where you are. A book fits in your business, no matter what stage you're at, and you just use it differently. And the fear that a lot of them have, whether it's with starting a business or writing a book, is I'm not perfect. I'm not going to get this right. I can't launch it until it's perfect. I can't move forward until it's perfect. Or I just won't do it because I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
And that is so sad, because like I said, we are looking at the world and saying something is missing. I know I can do this, but that imposter syndrome gets in our way. And what I like to tell people is, in the publishing world, there are 4 phases you go through. You go through writing, editing, which is what we're going to talk about today, publishing, and marketing. The writing part is where you data dump everything in your mind, your stories, your knowledge, your experiences, onto paper, and you put it into some sort of order, whether that be in order by chapter by lesson, chapter by story, one big story that spreads it all out. We can help you through all that. We can help you decide what's going to be the best format for you in your book. But you don't have to be perfect. The writing phase is not the time for perfection. Absolutely not. Now, a lot of coaches, myself included in some cases, will tell you to write without looking back, just forwards, always move forwards. And then your second draft is for looking back, where you make those tweaks, you start making storyline edits and things like that. But nobody in the writing phase is expecting you to be perfect. Ever. You will never find a coach that will say, okay, the first draft needs to be perfect, let's do it. Because that's just not how this works. We don't start businesses that way. We don't have babies that way. We don't do anything that is perfect the first round. So what we do at Next Page Publishing, and again, you can find more details on our services at nextpagepublishing.net, is we walk you through the 4 phases. So the first part, we coach you on the writing. So no, we don't expect you to be perfect, but we're going to help you get, really close to the fundamentals of your story being there. And then we move into editing. Now, there are 4 styles of editing, 3 big divisions of editing. The first one is I'll get you to picture an upside down pyramid. So you have the point at the bottom and the big flat part on top. The big flat part on top is your structural edits. That's where an editor comes in and looks at your story as a whole. So if you're worried about flow in your story, you're not sure this story really hits the right spot, you're not sure the teaching is coming across right, you hire what's called a developmental editor. And they will look at your story big picture, and they will suggest, this chapter could be moved here, or this paragraph should be moved down, this story could use more detail.
Yeah.
That's the first part. And a lot of our authors, that is actually their biggest fear, is that they're not telling their story right. Because when we write a story, we fill in the blanks in our head and we forget to fill them in on paper. And it happens all the time. We make assumptions because of our inherent knowledge that we forget to translate to the readers. So your developmental editor will come in and fill in those blanks. They'll say, hey, I don't get this. I don't know what you're trying to get at here. Can you expand? Or maybe, hey, you've gone off the deep end. We don't need all this information. Rein it back in. And they'll help you with that. So think of them as your big picture editor.
Mm-hmm.
And then up next, you have copy editing or line editing, which is exactly like it sounds with line editing. It is line by line, look at your work. Does this sentence make sense? Does the wording choice make sense? Is the flow of the paragraph, like inside the paragraph, is it right? And then you have the third style of editing, which is the style of editing I recommend every book go through in some way, shape, or form, is the proofreading. That's the very basics of making your work not have glaring mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, with Next Page Publishing, we take you through all three styles of editing. We take you through the developmental to look at your big picture. We walk you through the line editing so that you feel confident in your sentences. And then we take you through the proofreading, which just shines your work up. It takes it from that, diamond in the rough to that sparkling gem you wear on your finger. It's beautiful by the end. I'll pause there, Jill. Yeah.
No, perfect timing to pause. Why don't you share all forms of contact, how we can reach you if you're just tuning in? Let's let them know that Larissa Soehn is here as our book coach, international best-selling author, and how we can find you. Give us the new
Yeah,
website.
absolutely. So we want to talk to you if you are an entrepreneur looking to write that book to grow your business, to tell your story on your terms. And you can find us at nextpagepublishing.net, and you can contact us for a free 45-minute discovery where you can meet with me one-on-one.
That is so cool. We love hearing that because some people may, like we talked about, how that fear and anxiety, how does it work? But you offer that initial consultation to kind of go over the overview. And you also can help people with the writing aspect of the book too, right? We call that
Yeah,
ghostwriting,
absolutely.
I think you said, right?
We do. Yeah, we offer ghostwriting as well. So if you're really worried that you don't have the skill or the time, we can talk about that too.
Awesome. All right. What else did you want to get into for today?
Well, I would like to move into, what do you actually do? How do you actually find an editor now that you understand what styles of editing are available? And I want to preface that you don't need all those styles of editing. If you're pretty confident in your structure, in your story, in the flow, and you love it, and you don't actually want anyone to touch it, don't hire a developmental editor. Save your money. Don't do that. But on the flip side, if you are worried about it, then you're going to want to invest in that. So how do you actually go about finding your editor? How do you find someone that you know is going to get you, is going to get your voice, is going to get your tone, is going to understand what you're trying to do with this story? Now, you can go to websites like Upwork or Fiverr and find an editor. Word of caution, though, you really need to vet anyone you find this way. Ask for them to do sample edits on your work. Give them the first, chapter and say, can you do a sample edit, so that you get a feeling for what it is that they're going to do to your work. I have had people come to me and say, I had an editor and I fired that editor because I didn't like what they were doing to my work. And this is where at Next Page Publishing, we are different because we have a team of editors. We have 3 in-house editors, and we will pair you with the one that we think is the best for your work. So they're already vetted. We already know they're going to do an amazing job. They're tested, they're tried, they're true, they're honest, and they're good at their jobs. But they're not just any editor. They're not someone who edits fiction. They're not someone who edits, let's say, finance books when you're trying to do a spiritual self-help book. We will pair you with the editor that is in your genre so that your tone, your message is consistent throughout the book. So you don't walk away going, this doesn't sound anything like me anymore. Like, I don't like this. This isn't what I wanted. And we'll make sure your editor knows what you're trying to do with this book, knows the world, the life you're trying to change, so that they can maintain that voice.
Beautiful. I love this. You're so passionate about your work. And I know everyone, that's listening can hear that. And the fact that you're helping so many people boost their business. I want to hear another story or two of some people that, started with you and realized this is a great idea. Why didn't I think of this sooner?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll talk about the clients we have right now, because we have amazing clients right now, and we're fun and we're unique and we're different than a lot of hybrid publishers because we don't take just anybody. You can't bring your work to us and just assume that we're going to publish it, because we have a commitment to ourselves and to you to publish the best. We want to publish the work that is going to change the world with their message. We want to make your book the best. So we don't publish fiction. We don't publish memoirs. We don't publish children's books or cookbooks. We publish entrepreneur books that are looking to change the world with their message and their story. So we're very, we want everyone to come to us and we want everyone to tell us what they're doing. And then we want to help you, whether that be with us or with someone else. We have a whole host of affiliates that we work with that if you're bringing us a fiction book and look, we say, hey, we don't do fiction, but I have someone that can help you. So with the clients we have right now, they come to us in two phases. They either come to us with a manuscript that's already done. They're already done their first, maybe second draft, and they're saying, okay, this nonfiction work of mine, it tells a story. It's going to change people's lives. I'm ready to publish it. So they come to us and we pick them up from the editing phase. And the clients we have, oh my goodness, they're so amazing because they're coaches, they're entrepreneurs, they're self-growth oriented. They're willing to do the work, right? So when we come in and we say, okay, let's do the work, let's be a team, let's work together, they are so gung-ho. And we have had clients go to international bestseller in like under 4 hours with the work that we produce for them. They are able to claim this title. They're booking speaking engagements. They're getting paid to go on international stages. It's incredible with what they do with their book. And a lot of that is because, well, we polish the heck out of their work. We make sure, like I said, we publish the best. We only publish the best. And if it's not at that phase yet, we won't publish. We want you to be best foot forward so that you can reach bestseller status, so that you can grow your business, so that all your reviews are raving 5-star reviews because your work is at the best it can be. So those are some of the people we help. And then for those that don't have their manuscript yet, I'm working with a woman right now who came to me and she had just got back from Madrid. She went to a speaking engagement there. She heard some of her biggest mentors speak. And one of the things they introduce their mentors as is best-selling authors. And she came back to, the US and she sat down and she found me and she said, look, I'm ready to tell my story. I want to be on those stages. I want to be introduced as a best-selling author. My story deserves to be told. And so we signed her up and we said, let's do this. And for the next 6 months, she's on about month 2 at this point, and she is starting to get into that writing phase, into that actual journey of becoming the author. And the transformation she's on, we just did a brainstorming session of what to call her chapters, and she's choosing sassy. That's her chapter books. She's got swear words, she's got call outs, she's got controversy, she's got everything that makes a good book, a book that you can't put down. And it's stunning to watch these people, these women, find their power. She came to me and she was quite timid. She's like, I think I'm ready to tell my story. Like, I know this is the right time. And, a month in, she's like dropping F-bombs and she's got this new confidence in her. Like, this is my story and I'm telling it my way. And people are going to connect with it. And that's what we do. We help you see the value in your story. We help you formulate it in a way that we know people are going to connect with. We help you understand who you're writing to, so that when you are getting into the chapter building phase, you're looking at it going, yep. And her ideal reader's name is Emily. And she's looking at it and going, Emily's going to love this. Emily is going to get a kick out of this chapter. And that's what we do. We create power in you to tell your story.
Mom. And what does qualify? How do you become a best-selling author? Explain how that works. How do you get that status?
Yeah. So Amazon, we publish primarily on Amazon, and bless their little hearts, they are complicated. And that's part of the reason we started the traditional or the hybrid publishing house, because we knew how complicated self-publishing could be. But one thing that we pride ourselves on is staying on top of what Amazon is doing, because we shoot for Amazon bestseller, which means that you sell more books than anyone in your category in a certain period of time. And that's usually about 4 hours of time frame. So for example, if the number one book in your category has sold 100 copies in the last 4 hours, you need to sell 101 to claim that best-selling spot. But it is also heavily dependent on the reviews you're getting if you stay at the top of the charts. So we work really hard in our company to help you get reviews so that you stay at the top of those lists. And there's 2 reasons you want to be at the top of those lists or very, very close to the top. One, that's where your ideal reader is looking. They are looking at the list and they're scrolling, and you might get half a scroll before they found a book and that's the one they're going to buy. So you want to be at the top of those lists. You want to be one of the first things they're seeing. And what do readers look for? Jill, maybe I'll ask you, Jill, if you're looking for a book on Amazon, what are you looking for that's a qualifier to why you would buy it?
Lately, I have a 6 and 8-year-old, so it's kid books, and my son likes penguins, so I Google penguin books, and that's what I go by. So I'm not the general reader public at the moment. I don't know, to be honest. I've been searching for kid books, but my son likes penguins, so I look penguin books, and
Well,
then I
okay,
scroll
so
through. Yeah.
there's penguin books. And so you search penguin in Amazon. So let's say someone searches transformation or lose weight loss books, for example. It pulls up this list. So there's all your penguins. They're sitting on your home page, right? And it's got cover image. You're looking at the cover. Does it have a penguin on the cover? Does it look like my kid would like it? Is it colorful? Is
It's
it
true.
bright? Right? Does it attract me? That's the first thing. Click. All right, this penguin book looks like something that my son would read or my daughter would read. You click on it, you get into it. The second thing typically readers look at is reviews.
Reviews, yeah, the stars.
Yeah, reviews, the stars. Where are they in the stars? Do they have, 4,800 5-star reviews? Boom, that's a testament. So that's the thing we work on. We work on making sure your cover is awesome. Your cover needs to tell the story. It needs to intrigue, entice, bring people in, because that's click 1. Review number 2 is reviews. So we work on getting you reviews, making sure the reviews are coming in consistently. How do you as an author ask for a review? And it's a myth that they all have to be 5-star reviews. It helps, but actually reviews that show like that 2 or 3-star help readers understand like when it's not for them or when it is for them. I've had a client, her book has a lot of swear words in it. And she had a 1-star review saying, this book has a lot of swear words in it. Like, it was terrible. And she's had more sales off of that review because people are like, I want a book with swear words in it. Like, that's my language. That's how I talk. So that 1-star review sold her a lot of copies.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you for teaching me this today.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the second thing, reviews. And then the third is your bio, is your description. You might read a couple of sentences about what is the book actually about? Is it in my line? But the first thing that you as the reader, Jill, are looking at is cover and reviews. And so that's where we spend a lot of our energy. And that's what makes a bestseller. When you're on the top of those lists, you need to have an awesome cover that people want to click on. And you need to have the reviews that show people this is a good book. People have read this book.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. This is great. Fascinating. I never knew that. You really enlightened me today. How do you become a best-selling author? And then you're right. Walk me through the steps of what I do. How do I look? And I look at the book cover. I look at the reviews next. And then, the description, that first sentence or two, it's got to all be there. Oh my gosh, that's pressure on writing, but I guess you could help with the first 2 sentences of the description too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We help you with the synopsis. We help you with everything that's going to make your book sell. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. If we want to reach out to you for that initial free 45-minute consultation, Larissa Soehn, how do we do so?
You can find us at nextpagepublishing.net. You can find access to our free monthly mastermind. We just wrapped one up yesterday. It was stellar. We gave away free copies of our books. We had amazing conversations. So the next one is coming up on July 17th. So you can grab your free ticket at nextpagepublishing.net. And you can also find the link to book in a call one-on-one with me to find out what potential your book has for you, your business, and how we can get you there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the next time we connect, Larissa. Have a great day and
Thank
an
you so
even
much.
better weekend. All right.
Okay.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.